Hello healers and health seekers, it's me, Choda, healing with medical medium information for 29 months now, and today I want to do a little stroll back into the early days of my healing, memory lane, and I guess we would call this a victory check video for sure, because it is a victory check, what I'm going to tell you about. So as you may know, or maybe you don't, I did not start making YouTube videos until about 18 months into my healing. That means there was 18 months going on of healing and healing stories and milestones and all kinds of awesome stuff like that that I don't have any visual record of. Now some of them I have record of in blog posts and stuff like that, but for the most part I wasn't ready to be making videos. It just took me a while to get there. So there's a lot of stuff that didn't get necessarily documented in a way I would like to. And I was reminded of one of those things the other day. So that's why I'm calling this a victory check video. Here's the story. When I was my sickest, okay, I was so sensitive. My nervous system was so sensitive and I was so chemically sensitive and had allergies and all these other things going on that I reacted to pretty much every single medication that the doctors would prescribe to me, even though I had them compounded at a compounding pharmacy. The only way I could take any medication whatsoever was to have it compounded. And I tried all the things for mast cell activation disorder that they gave me and reacted to every single one of them. Couldn't take the stuff to prevent me from reacting because it made me have reactions. I reacted to everything they prescribed me for POTS, everything they prescribed me for anything. There were so many prescriptions. I probably had like 15 prescriptions all through the history of it, and I couldn't take any of them except for one. I'm sorry, two. There were two. One of them was compounded Benadryl, which normally is over the counter, but because of all the additives and preservatives and things that they put in Benadryl, I couldn't take that. So I had to get my Benadryl compounded. I could take that one. But I only took it if I need it. Like it was an as needed, not like something I took constantly. And the second one, which was constantly, I took it every day, was low dose naltrexone. Low dose naltrexone is used primarily by naturopaths and in the alternative medical community to take the edge off of fibromyalgia pain. That is what it was prescribed to me for. And it does. It does not. Is not a pain reliever. It doesn't, and by the way, I'm allergic to opiates and most painkillers, so I couldn't take anything for pain. I couldn't take acetaminophen or ibuprofen because I reacted to those too, and I didn't even try to get those compounded because NSAIDs were an issue as well, and I know that acetaminophen is really hard on the liver. Conventional medical knowledge even is aware of that. So the only thing that would take the edge off of my pain, that was a prescription, and it didn't take away the pain, but it took the edge off so that I could function without just being like screaming in pain all day. And if I missed one single day of low dose naltrexone, I felt it. Like I would know immediately, like, oh my gosh, I didn't take it, because the pain would come back. So that was my one prescription that I was still taking. So when I started using the medical medium information and I started healing and I started noticing my healing, and I was having like less pain in my body, and I was having like less overall stress, and things were starting to feel a little bit better, and I was having a little bit of energy. And unfortunately I don't know how long this was in, and probably I could look it up on my blog because I think I did write about it. But one day I kind of forgot to call in my low dose naltrexone prescription, which means I ran out. And when I did run out, I noticed that my pain level didn't go up, because like I said, I would notice if I missed one day. But I ran out and I didn't see my pain levels go up. And I did notice that, because I didn't actually notice I ran out until I hadn't taken it for a few days. And then I was like, wait a minute, I didn't call in I don't have any more low dose naltrexone, I haven't taken it in a few days, but my pain levels are still the same. The edge is still off my pain. And then I thought, I don't need this. I'm functional without it. And I just never did call in that low dose naltrexone. I never took it again from there. That was it. And my pain only continued to decrease from there, which was amazing, because quite frankly, when I started doing the medical medium information, I didn't think that chronic pain was going to be helped by it. I had no idea. I just was trying to have enough energy. Like basically I was trying to deal with the chronic fatigue and have enough energy to just be able to function. I didn't think that pain would disappear. I didn't think that depression would disappear. I didn't think any of that stuff was going to go away. I had no inkling that that could happen. I was stunned because I was like, the edge is off my pain. I don't have all over body pain so severe. Like I still had pain a little bit, but it was a level that I was functional with. Like it was okay. I didn't need to take the edge off of that. And another thing that I used at that time, if the pain got really bad, I lived in a state where medical marijuana was legal, and I had a card because of my chronic pain. I didn't like to use it because while in my 20s I definitely enjoyed it as a recreational substance, as an adult I kind of didn't like how, even though it was like high CBD, the strains I used were high CBD, I didn't really like the high that any tiny bit of THC in there would give. So I tried not to use it unless things were really bad and I really needed to take the pain down. And usually low-dose naltrexone kind of kept it mostly at a level where it didn't get really bad, but occasionally it would get really bad and I would have to use some high CBD medical marijuana to take the edge off. I got it in the little, the concentrate, the oil, and I did smoke it, but it was like a couple of puffs. It wasn't very much. Sometimes I would do the edibles, but most of the edibles I couldn't eat because of the ingredients and I was allergic to everything. So I could make sometimes I would make my own, but most of the time I would just do the concentrates and just take a couple puffs if I really was in a lot of pain. But again, I just didn't use it very often because I didn't like that whole experience. I already had so much fatigue and I was already so tired, and it just kind of, I didn't want to do that a lot. But I didn't need that anymore either. I didn't need the medical marijuana, and I didn't need the low-dose naltrexone. I was at a functional level with my pain that I didn't have to have anything else to take the edge off. I could just live with it. And that was an amazing victory check. My stroll down memory lane victory check for my healing journey. Because what happened during those 18 months, Ichoda? Because here's the thing. I honestly had the idea to video document my progress and healing from the beginning of my journey. Like 3 days in, when I was writing all about it in my blog, when I was writing about the healing and I was documenting it that way, I thought, I want to videotape this and see, and see what happens. But I was not well enough at that point, when I was still that sick, to figure this all out. And I know it's like relatively simple to a non-sick, to somebody who doesn't have chronic illness and you just are able to function in your everyday life or whatever. Like, you think, how hard is it to make a YouTube video? It wouldn't be for you. But for somebody who's chronically ill and has so much brain fog and can barely function, and it's way too much. That was overwhelming and I couldn't even conceive of it. So I just didn't manage to do it until about 18 months in, and then I was finally ready. And I was also struggling with other issues about like being in front of the camera, because I've always been the photographer, not the subject, and stuff like that. But honestly, the way I look at it, my videos aren't about me. I mean, they are, obviously, because I'm talking about my healing, but making them is not about me. It's about getting the information out there and helping people heal and helping people on their journeys, especially when they're first starting out, or even if you've been at this a couple of years and just want to know that there's somebody else out there that's healing and struggling sometimes and succeeding sometimes, and like the ways that I cope. And it's just nice to have company sometimes, right? So that's why I make videos. So I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane with me of one of my earlier victory checks, which was really amazing, and realizing like, oh my gosh, I don't need this medication anymore. I can go off medications. And because I reacted to everything else, I was then off of all of my medications. Oh, I guess, okay, I still took Benadryl every now and again if I had to, or no, I don't know if I did take it. I still had it. I actually only just recently got rid of the Benadryl. It's been in my fridge for a couple of years, and I was like, why do I have this? I didn't even know it was there, really. I was just kind of cleaning out the fridge and I found it. It's like, I don't need this. I don't need this. Nobody in my family needs this. Got rid of it. That just was a delight to not need those medications and to know that these supplements and these foods and these herbs are doing their work and healing me. And I want to reiterate about that. Like I like to say in so many of my videos, healing does take time. So you might have things, or maybe you don't notice your progress or whatever, but what's going on deep in your liver and deep in your body that is behind the scenes that you don't see, if you are eating the healing foods and you are eating the healing supplements and the herbs and keeping yourself hydrated and having your adrenal snacks, and if you're doing all that, you are healing. Whether you see the progress or not, please be patient and please understand that it is a process and it does take time. This is not a fad diet. This is not anything you've ever known before. This isn't a raw food diet. This isn't a vegan diet. This isn't just, it's not anything you've ever heard before, because I used to do a raw food diet. I did. Before I got into all this paleo, keto, GAPS, whatever BS, before I got hooked down that path, I was eating raw for over a year. But what I didn't know then, that I do know now, is that it was a high-fat raw diet. So the reason I didn't have as much progress with it, I did have progress with it, but I didn't have as much as one would have thought, was because I kept eating all those nuts and seeds. I wasn't having grains, not even sprouted grains, but I did have nuts and seeds. And so it wasn't as low fat as I thought it was. I had, not only did I have nuts and seeds, I would put coconut oil and stuff like almond butter and stuff like that in my smoothies. Oh my goodness. And knowing what I know now about the liver, and knowing what I've learned in these past 29 months about the liver, and with this liver rescue book, it makes me sad a little bit because of all the stuff I did to my liver unwittingly. I had no idea. But now I do. When you know better, you do better, and I'm doing better, and I'm trying to make up for all the damage that I did. And I am making up for it. And it takes time, because there was a lot of damage in my life. I was 44 before I came to this information. So it is going to take. And I was sick, honestly, pretty much my whole life, you know? Like, I didn't know, because it's like you don't really realize you're sick as long as you're functional. And I was functional until I was 40. So I had no idea. But now that I know, and now that I understand the information, I look back and I'm like, yeah, my whole life, almost. Maybe all my life. But definitely starting when I was 6, for sure. My poor liver has a lot of toxins, a lot to let go of, and it's got a lot of healing to do. And that could take a few years, and that is fine with me. It is, because you know what? I would rather take a few years to heal and have to take it slow and live life in the slow lane. Island life, man. Take it easy and relax. I would much rather do that than the alternative. Because the alternative, if I had not found this medical medium information, I don't really even like to think about where my life would be right now. Because the way it was headed, I was in a wheelchair and totally confined to my house. I was in a wheelchair. I had a piece of paper from my doctor that said, yes, this woman is permanently disabled, and that is why I had handicap tags on my car. Because I needed the wheelchair and I needed the handicap tags, because I couldn't walk into the store. I couldn't walk into the movie theater. I couldn't go to a store or a movie theater. But if I could have, I couldn't have walked in. I had no stamina. I had nothing. And I don't know if I'd be alive right now. I really honestly don't know if I'd be alive right now. And if I was alive right now, I think I would just be on a horrible, horrible path and just have lost even more of my health and more foods and more and more and more. And I would be even less functional somehow than I was. And I just shudder to think of the possibilities, because I have considered them, and no thanks. No thanks. I would much rather take the slow road to healing than the fast road to the opposite of that, to more sickness, to more chronic illness. Those were honestly the choices, because conventional and alternative medicine, neither of those things were offering me any alternatives that were helping. And I'd go to their offices and they would just take guesses. Like my naturopath even said, like, I don't really know what to do to heal you, so let's just try some stuff. And she's like, it's kind of gonna be like throwing darts at a dartboard. I was like, well, that's all we have. Let's do it. Nothing we did for 2 years, nothing she did worked. Nothing. The only thing that she did do that I find useful is she did have the foresight to test me for Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, and some other viruses. And she said, you are positive for these 2 viruses. And I was like, okay, what do we do? And then she gave me some homeopathic drops with alcohol in them to try to help take down the virus. So that was a terrible idea, because alcohol will negate anything that it's in. Like anything that's in alcohol just totally destroys the effects of it. And it pickles the liver, so it's just made things worse. But at least she found out that information, but it's like she didn't know what to do with it. It's not her fault. She tried. She really was trying. She really was. But in the end, we couldn't get there. So medical medium got me there. And then my new naturopath, because I did switch, my new naturopath, I actually told her about the medical medium information, and she said, you know, I've had a couple other patients tell me about this book, and she said, I read it. She said, I think I'm going to read it again because I'm just really blown away. She was blown away seeing my progress, and I'd only been seeing her for like a couple of months. And the amount of healing I had done, like I couldn't even go in her office before, and then I could, and because her office was in kind of an old building in Portland that had mold in it. She was amazed at the progress I had made, and she could see that I was doing better, and she was like, I'm gonna really have to look into this. And I hope she did. I don't live there anymore, so I don't know what happened, but I really hope that she started using it with her other patients, because if she does, she's gonna have like a really prosperous and successful practice, because the word's gonna get out and people are gonna be like, she has great results. And yeah, so that's my story, my walk back down memory lane of healing. And I'll probably do more walk back down memory lane videos of the victory checks that I had along the way as I remember them and as I look them up, because victory checks are always fun. They're the best kind. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up below. You can subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button down there, and you can ding the bell next to it if you want to be notified when I post a new video. I love you, my healers and health seekers. Stay curious. You can heal. Blessings, blessings, blessings for your continued healing, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye. Love you. Bye-bye.